Hey everyone, welcome back. Our next guest is a Bronx local artist and disabled Army veteran who, after being cut off from therapeutic and social support systems during the COVID-19 pandemic, credits the arts for his healing journey. His current expressions can be seen in colors, intricate 3D woodwork, and unique designs, which create a place of joy, peace, love, and pride. And I myself can attest to that with my two Ricosánte designs, the carved wood back there. And he's here to tell us more. Please welcome Ricosánte Designs creator, Héctor V. Cotza. Hello, welcome.
Oh, I love how you say my name. Hi, Rhina. How are you?
Oh, it's so wonderful to see you, to see how you've expanded. I'm so excited to share with our audience everything that's happened since our last interview, which was during the pandemic.
Yes, 2 years ago.
2 years ago, right?
Yes, and I was very shy when I did my first interview with you, and I just started, and I remember being close here at home, and I was getting all depressed, and I said, I'm going to start doing something. And I started making these little Puerto Rican flags in wood, and while I was working, and this was something to help me keep going so I could keep my mind busy. It came to a point where I had done so many that I said, oh my God, I need to sell these. And I decided that on Pride, I was going to do my first day. I mean, it was nerve-wracking. I had to rent a tent, and I had to sign things, and I had to get a certificate, and I had to get all this stuff. And I did it for the first time. And I want you to know that it was so successful. I'm telling you, I probably sold at least 30 pieces of art. And I said, oh my God, there's something here. So I decided that I was going to do Comité Noviembre, which is in November, right? Because that was the first idea that I had, was to do Comité Noviembre, which focuses on Puerto Rican artisans and their work. And it's like this big fair, Ostos in November. And I said, I'm going to do that next. Again, it was just as successful. So I said, this is going to be my business. You know, December came around. I lost my job. I started interviewing for.
So when we say December, just give me a year. Are we talking about?
Oh, sorry, December 2021, this past December.
Okay.
I get a call. Sorry, the company's closing. They're going bankrupt. And I said, you know something, I'm going to dedicate myself to this. And I started, and I just kept going and going. I'm going to tell you, it's the happiest thing that I do. I go to bed, and I can't wait to get up in the morning. And I promise you, I get up at 5:15, I brush my mouth, I make my coffee, and I sit down to make art. This morning I started, I'm making this 3 pieces of Puerto Rican culture, the mofongo and the coffee. And
right.
So I'm going to show you a little bit because it's all by pieces. So for example, this is an avocado. I think you can see it right there. Isn't that cute?
Yeah, I mean, we get the gist of it. So
yeah, so it's different pieces. It's different pieces,
carved?
Right? That's carved. Yeah, and then I paint them one at a time. I mean, it's a lot of work, but it's so challenging, and it's very creative. I only do one of a kind. And then what happened was, a couple of months ago, I got a call, and they said, listen, we heard of you. We're doing a 3D art exhibition at the Poe Park Visitor Center with any 55-year and older artists. And I said, that's me. So I submitted some of my artwork, and they're like, great. Well, it ends up that mine was the hit. I'm not trying to be honest, but mine was the hit. And I saw the other, I mean, the art is beautiful, but mine is something different because it's a 3D, right? So I'm going to show you here quickly. This is one that I did last week, and I'm putting it close so you can see. Look at it all around, very detailed. Look at the little cookie there. Like everything's handmade. It takes me a long time, but there's a lot of love that I put into it. So
a lot of detail.
And
I can attest to that because I have 2. I have the heart, and I also have the casitas of Puerto Rico, which I'm going to push this up a little bit.
Those are beautiful, yes.
I mean, I probably should have brought them up, but I can attest to the detail and the actual, just looking at it from here doesn't do it justice. It does have those layers, and it looks very meticulous. It's very meticulous. Yeah.
So then I got a call back maybe 3 weeks ago, and they said, you know something, we love your art. People are very excited with your art. So we were wondering, do you have enough art to fill up our place because we would like to do an exhibition just with your art. And we would like to have a Meet the Artist Day. And I felt so honored. And I said, oh my God, like, this is my dreams. I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it only because when people see my work, they're like, oh my God, you can see the love that you put into it. Look at all the colors. I don't do black and whites. As I told you in the last segment, I started this because I suffered PTSD and bipolarism. And I had a lot of depression. Now I bring all my love out. Like, I am happy all the time. I'm very happy. Like, you remember last time I was very like, oh, timid. Now I'm like, I'm so excited because I'm getting so much attention over my art. So I went over, I told them, listen, I'm doing Pride. Depending on what I have left over, I sold, I think, 25 pieces at Pride. Wow. And I still had a couple of pieces left. So I took them all. I had to label all of them. I did it myself because I wanted it to look, if you're going to put my artwork there, I wanted it to all look perfect. They were so excited that I filled it up and they're like, listen, we're going to do a Meet the Artist. I said, sure. So this, if I can give you the information, this is going to happen July 23rd. Right. It's at the exhibit right now, the whole month of July. Mm-hmm. There's information under the picture. So if anybody wants, there's my business card. If anybody's interested in any piece, they could always Instagram me because that's the only method that I could get. You could communicate with me either through email, which is on the business card, Instagram, or Facebook under Ricosánte Designs.
Okay, so, you know, I gotta say, and again, as you mentioned already, like your energy is so different from what it was 2 years ago. And so I love when we're able to share with our audience the silver lining behind the pandemic. Yeah. And I also really quickly want to share with our audience something that occurred with you with regards to you asking us to remove the video of you that was mobilized through YouTube, right? Because we shoot this and the entire show is an hour, but then we separate the segments and they're loaded up to YouTube. And you personally reached out to me and requested that we strike it. And can we just share with our viewers why?
Well, you know, after I lost my job in December of 21, I started interviewing. Now, I was an executive assistant for C-suite individuals, like really high people like Ralph Lauren and Victoria's Secret. And like, I'm here interviewing for these beautiful companies and they're so interested in me. And I could tell by the third interview, I would make it. And at the third interview, I had a couple of people that would say to me, I saw that video of you. And it felt like they were trying to tell me something like, okay, in that last video, I spoke about my disease, right? It's not a disease, I call it a disability.
The disability, PTSD.
Yeah, PTSD from the military. Right. I used to deal with dead bodies. Like that was, so it's very hard at an 18-year-old doing inventory on dead bodies, right? So the way it was presented was this probably a lack, right? And that stigma behind mental illness is so difficult that I decided, you know, so I'm not gonna hide for anyone. You know, if they don't want to hire, they're lost because I've been a very successful person. I've worked with 3 people in my life. They've all taken me to their next job. They're very supportive. I have a boss that goes to all my events with me, my last boss, and drives me, okay? And she is a head of a big company for human resources, okay? So I decided, I told you, you know, Rhina, put it back. You know why? Because I am going to show the world this is me and look how successful I can be with this disability, right? Which has brought the best out of me. It really has.
I'm excited that
I feel like I'm going to cry.
It's beautiful, though. It's such a beautiful story because look at what you're doing now. Now you work for yourself. Now you're actually working with your passion and you're excited to wake up every day to just create whatever is, I guess, coming through you in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah. And it all comes from my head, like not from my head. I get, of course, you get inspiration, but I don't do like people like to commit and say, can you do this for me? I could probably do it, but I have to be in that state of mind because I wake up. Listen, I did one piece that I hated. I literally hated it. It was the face of like that Mexican Day of the Dead, but then I put a clown, had a nose, and it had like a lot of colors. And in that day, I wasn't feeling well. So what I saw was a depressed person inside with this clown face outside that the world can see. Hated that piece. I would never take it out at the event. Can you believe a friend of mine said, you need to take this piece out? And it sold that day. And the woman said to me, this piece spoke to me. And when I told her, she's like, oh my God, I'm in the same boat as you. And the art comes through to people, you know, they read the art in different ways. So I think a lot of my art, people can see where it came from, the love for Puerto Rico, right? Like I am so proud to be a Puerto Rican. I'm proud to be a Latino. I like to do things that have to do with Latino art.
Right.
You know, I do pride. I mean, I'm trying to do everything. I'm trying to expand, but slowly, right? Because Rome wasn't built in a day, right?
Right. Well, I mean, you're doing these by hand, and they're all original pieces. It's not
one of a kind.
Yeah, exactly. One of ones. And I can't say it enough. I mean, we're so proud of you, and thank you for coming back and sharing your truth. And I hope it inspires anyone who's watching today. Everyone, this is Héctor Cotza of Ricosánte Designs, and Ricosánte Designs 3D Wood Art Exhibition is currently on display now through the end of July 2022 at Cole Park Visitor Center, which is located at 2640 Grand Concourse in the Bronx. And the gallery hours are from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And also, as Héctor mentioned, he's going to have a meet and greet on Saturday, July 23rd. And that's happening from 2 to 4 p.m. If you're interested in more in learning more about Héctor and his artwork, you can visit him on IG at Héctor Cotza. All right, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we're going to hear about the return of the off-Broadway hit, The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde. Don't go anywhere.